All right, Nikki, part two. Three, two, one, bang, bang. All right, so we're back. It's Nikki part two. So last time we did the podcast with Nikki, who is a sex worker. We ran out of time because Nikki was late.
I'm sorry.
But today, Nikki was on time. So we're at it again. So we had left off last time. Nikki had gotten busted.
You're not even going to ask about my outfit. I love that you just go straight past that I'm wearing a nun outfit.
Well, I'm kind of going to warm up the...
Okay.
But as you can see, Nikki is dressed as a whore of a nun. To keep it bluntly.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if the nuns dressed like you, they'd have a lot more...
I feel like we would have a lot more prey.
No, for sure. Actually, a lot more... the parishioners?
Parishioners.
Yeah.
Someone asked me on my Instagram of like, are you in the parish? And I was like, yeah, yes, Daddy. That's terrible. Anyway.
So, we left off, you had gotten busted.
Yes.
And then you had gotten an Uber driver to take you home.
Yes.
And then that's where we left off.
Okay, so I get busted, go through all the, we talked about taking the photos and
Right.
everything like that. I get home and I have my ticket, right? So you have 3 months. I mean, it's standard.
Move this up a little closer.
Okay.
There you
Standard time of like 3 months for any ticket.
Kind of like a speed ticket.
Yeah, except it says prostitution.
Like literally prostitution?
Yeah, I actually didn't think that they used that word anymore, but that's the term.
Okay.
That's like the real term.
Okay. So we're back in the 70s.
Right, exactly, except I don't have bush.
Okay. Thank God.
Thank God. So I'm not gonna lie, I procrastinated. I just...
Like always.
And I think when you start to feel a little shameful of things, I'm not shameful of my job, I'm shameful that I have a ticket that says prostitution.
Right.
Because I don't use that word. I've never used that word. So I procrastinated 2 days prior to my court hearing.
Okay.
And like I said before, ladies came into the holding tank and said, oh, if this is your first time or whatever, we have these organizations.
Yeah, you said they had like some programs to help you get out of the business.
Yeah,
help you out. Yeah.
Nonprofit organization. So I called the nonprofit organization 2 days before my mandatory hearing and said, I'm really kind of in a jam. I'm looking to I need to have an intake right away. And she said, we don't usually do this. And I said, I understand that. I kind of just forgot about my hearing. That's a lie.
Right.
And so they took me the next day, which they never do. I guess it was whatever day it was. They don't take intakes that day.
Okay.
So you have to go in, and it's like an intake to therapy. So they write down all your information. They say it's all confidential, so nothing goes back to the court system. Whatever you say there is completely confidential, which is really nice. Actually.
It's probably like client lawyer privilege.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so I did my intake, and it was very odd, just because you're going through therapy, and I don't know if anyone's ever done therapy.
I mean, I've done therapy.
Nothing
would be. I think everybody should go to therapy at least once in their life.
Definitely not ashamed of, but if you have closed wounds that haven't really healed.
Right. So that was my question to you. Did they kind of start talking to you why are you in the business?
Oh yeah.
Or trying to talk you out of it, or
they didn't try to talk out of it. That's not their job, because they know some of these girls I don't think will ever leave. So their goal is to just give the information as best as they can and try to help them go through their classes, whatever the court has mandated. And so they gave me all my paperwork and said, okay, just bring this up in court tomorrow, because you still have to go, because we can't do anything right now. And let them know that you're part of our class, because we have you written down, and see what the judge says, and then come back, that day or the next day or whenever, and start your classes. So that intake is, excuse me, pretty, I mean, it's not therapy, it's small therapy because
Okay.
they're just kind of trying to gauge where you're at. Because they want to know if you're safe, if you have a home.
Yeah, they want to know if you're
suicide rate, if you're being trafficked.
Right.
Like that's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
So
you're like, no, I'm willing.
I'm willing.
Able.
I'm able. I love this. So.
Sorry, I got choked up there.
Sorry. So the next day, 8 a.m., I'm in court, and I can't find my ticket. I can't find my ticket in my house to tell me where I'm supposed to go.
Okay.
And so I'm frantically LA search Superior Courts, find my stuff, find where I'm supposed to go. Now there's 5,000 different rooms in that court, and I'm trying to figure out where to go. Well, I'm a misdemeanor, and so you go with the misdemeanors, and I'm trying to find that.
Which is amazing. They give you a ticket that says prostitution, but yet again it's a misdemeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking
bananas.
Yeah, it makes it's like 2 + 2 = 4. No, it's like 2 + 2 is 5.
Exactly.
You know,
it's very odd, and especially so I'm kind of hanging out because I don't know where to go, and I'm looking around, and so I find a guy in front of the desk, and he's a cop, and I'm like, I just need to know where I'm supposed to go, and he was like, misdemeanor or whatever, and I said, no, it's a misdemeanor. He was like, for you or for someone else? I was like, for me, and he was like, are you sure it's a misdemeanor? And I was, because I was in my nice clothes.
Right. I mean,
it's
you're going to court. Yeah.
Corporate attire.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing, I'm not.
Should have wore that instead.
Right?
I just came from confession.
I said all the little boys around me. So he points me in the right direction. I go there. The judge is just kind of quickly going through cases, not really paying attention. I didn't realize that I even had a public defender that already been assigned my case. You don't know.
Wow.
Which is weird to me. So I was sitting there waiting, and the lady asks everyone that comes up that doesn't have a public defender if they need a public defender. I haven't been in court in a really long time. I try to stay away from it. The last time I was in court was in 93.
Okay. So it's been a while.
It's been a long time. I mean, yeah. So, or for anything that I've been in trouble for.
Right.
So, she didn't ask me. And so I just, oh shit, I'm here by myself.
Right.
So I sit down. One of the girls that got caught with me
was there.
Was there. She didn't recognize me.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I recognized her. She was super irritated. Way more irritated than she should have been. She went in front of me, and I thought, oh, you're going to ruin it for the rest of us. Because there was only 3 women in there that day, and we all were in there for the same thing. So she went in there. She didn't have a defender, or a public defender, or her own private.
Right.
The case had already been drug on for this long because she got caught up when I did. So it's been a couple months. She asked for them to extend, and the judge was not happy because she wouldn't take a public defender to just try to hammer it out right then and there. Because realistically, all they would have done, well, I'm not sure because she's been caught before.
Okay, and then, by the way, I mean, let's be realistic here. A public defender compared to your own attorney, I mean, you're probably going to get...
You need your own attorney.
You do.
Now, I have my own attorney. I didn't bring him into this.
Okay.
I have other things that are going on in my life that he needs to handle. This is not one of them.
Okay.
Because I had already, as much as I procrastinated, I already knew what was going on.
Okay.
So I was prepared. I didn't go in nervous. I knew what I needed to do. I was caught. My ticket says prostitution. Money went into my purse, and I found out that it wasn't verbal cues. It was that money went into my purse.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's like,
it used to be verbal cues.
It's like drug exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not about like, oh, do you have any?
Right. It wasn't anything.
It's about the exchange.
It's about the exchange.
Exactly.
So it was just cash.
As soon as you grab the money, as soon as you touch it, you're done.
Yeah. I was done. So, I read through my file because I had everything, and the public defender talked to me, and he was really quick, right? Because they have 5,000 cases, and I was like, I'm guilty, but I've already started classes, and he was like, that doesn't matter, and I said, no, yes it does. I said, you can either go talk to the judge or talk to the quote unquote people's attorney.
Right.
And I said, this does matter, and this will weigh the decision. So the judge was pissed with the lady before, and she threw an attitude. She went to walk away without him excusing her. Like, it was something out of a bad Instagram
Right.
meme. I thought for sure I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
you're fucked.
I'm just gonna be locked up. I get up there. The people's attorney say, "Good job for starting the classes." They mandate a certain amount of classes. The judge says come back in February, but you have a full year to not get in trouble. And then in October, in 2020, you'll come back and we'll dismiss the misdemeanor.
Oh, nice.
So that's nice, right? So I have a year of just not getting in trouble.
Yeah. Not being stupid.
Not being dumb, not being lazy.
Right.
Because that's what it comes down to. And then my classes have started. So I've done a couple weeks of classes.
So what do you go to, like, prostitution class?
It's great.
Like,
right? How weird.
I'm Nikki and I'm a whore. I mean, what do you do?
No aliases there because they have to sign off on your things. So I'm my real name.
Okay, so you're.
But yeah, Nikki. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Beep.
Yeah. And you have to
it's
sit.
group therapy. It's group therapy.
So you sit there and
You sit there. So you can go, and this is what I found really interesting. So they have daytime classes and they have evening classes, and then they have one-on-one sessions if you want them, because some of these girls are traveling from further away because this organization is only in LA and the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
I'm sure there's plenty other organizations because when they gave me the sheet of like what classes did you say that you signed up for, there's like 4 or 5 different things. I'm amazed at kind of what kind of prostitution John's classes there are to get you out of this business.
Well, listen, I think that if we talk about just the sex worker industry, okay, I'm sure you have, I mean, let's break it down. You have the massage with the rub and tug, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the one that does everything, the girlfriend experience, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the porn star experience.
Yeah, a little more effort.
Right? So you have the GAFE, the PSE,
Mm-hmm.
you have the rub and tug, and then the other one would probably be like a dominatrix, bondage.
Right, you're getting into like a kink fantasy
Right.
world.
So there's 4 categories that we can just come up with right now.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So I think that in this therapy, they're trying to kind of figure out
part of it is
where are you, you know?
Part of it is, and part of the group therapy is realistically, it's real no shit therapy. Like you're discussing with a psychiatrist and a therapist about your feelings. Like they every day there's a subject that you're talking about, whether it's intimacy, your individuality, your self-esteem, domestic violence was one of them.
Right.
So all these things to where you're just able to go and sit on a couch for an hour and voice your opinion, or sit there and just get credit for the class because you don't necessarily have to participate.
Right. It's like AA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You sit there and you hear people, and then when you want to speak or you think you've built up,
enough courage or
the courage,
whatever.
the balls, whatever. Like you need to really get it off your chest. Is when you say, "Hey, my name is Carlos, and I'm an alcoholic."
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So.
My name is Beep, and I'm a prostitute.
Now, did they make you use the word prostitute, or
no? You don't even really talk about it. Like you don't use the word prostitute. You say in the life. That's it. That's realistically because no one wants to be called a prostitute. I don't care how long you've been doing this. 10 weeks, 10 years. That word is so outdated.
Is that why the whole word sex worker is so big in the industry that they want to be?
Because you're being paid for a job.
Right.
So we are workers.
Workers of sex.
It's still work.
Right.
I'm still doing work. I had a client before I came here. I cleaned up, but 20 minutes before I got here.
Right.
I still have to pay bills.
Right.
And that was something that we spoke about in therapy too, where one of the questions was, if you think about quitting, and I was like, I don't, not right now. I'll be honest with you. I love this program, and I actually, all nonsense aside, what they're doing, I think it's good. Like, if you're really in trouble and you're really working to get out of it and you need a better situation in your life, they're doing a hell of a job. They're working their asses off. And it's not a lot of people that are in that organization that are actually running that organization. And so kudos to them, because they take on a lot of stuff.
Oh,
and they hear a ton of stories.
Oh,
and
I'm sure.
Right? And a lot of it, they don't get to do anything.
Right.
You know, you can't call the police. Now, they have a set of rules that the girls all have to follow. There's no men allowed unless, like, it's someone, like a UPS driver that's dropping something off. You'll never see a man there.
Okay.
One of the laws or rules is the same quote-unquote boyfriend can't drop off 2 or 3 sex workers and wait in his car.
Right.
Because they don't want you to be recruiting outside.
Right.
I totally understand. I get it. And I made mention in some of the group therapy sessions, like, this pays the bills. No other job that I've looked at, and even the job that I was in, the corporate job that I was in prior to, if I were to go back into the corporate setting, I'd have to start from scratch. I've been out of the business for a long time.
Right.
So there's no way that I'm going to start at 6 figures.
I mean, let's just be realistic. I think today, especially today in today's world, there's less jobs. I mean, they say there's more jobs. Yeah, there's more jobs that are part-time.
Right, because companies don't want to pay health care.
No, and that's the thing, is that the government has made them say, oh, you have to have insurance for employees up to this number, and people are like, it ain't going to happen here.
Right. So you'll get your 32 hours.
Instead of your 40.
Right.
You know, or whatever it is.
It cuts costs.
Right.
Completely.
And then, so how are you going to make a living by the time you go up the ladder again?
Oh my God!
You'll be broke.
I'll be broke. I'll be living in a car
because you won't be able to pay your rent. You won't be able to pay. It's just, and I get it. You know.
Someone made mention. They were like, "Man, I can't believe that this woman is living off of $3,000." This was in one of our classes, and I was like, "Where are they living?"
Yeah.
Because $3,000, I pay that in rent.
Yeah.
That's my rent. That doesn't include my bills. And I was talking to one of the ladies. I was like, that doesn't include the loans that I have with some not so great people. That doesn't include anything. That is just rent.
I mean, if you think about, I think with the average, I think somebody I know in Hollywood rented a studio, and I think he got a deal on it, and it's like $1,400.
Oh my God! And it's a studio.
Yeah, it's a studio.
You're living in a square.
So, let's say $3,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's $1,400. So now he's up with $1,600.
Right.
Now let's just say he has to pay for gas to drive his car.
Of course.
Right. It's probably a used car. So you figure, let's just say, with gas, it's probably maybe, let's say, $200 a week for the month. $200 for the month. Right.
If he's not going far.
Right. So now we're at 16. Now we're down to 14. Now food. You're gonna have to pay for food.
Right.
So let's just say that's another $200.
And if you're a fat ass, you're paying for more.
Big time.
And not only that, but if you're actually trying to be better at eating, you're going to pay more.
More because it's more
more
expensive.
expensive.
Exactly. And then not only that, you figure power. You have to pay for power. The apartments give you the water. You know?
For the most part.
Yeah. And then you have like bills, your cell phone. If something comes up, cable, Wi-Fi.
Maybe a credit card.
Something comes up, yeah. But before you know it, you're running thin because the average bill's like $200 now.
Right.
I mean,
it's insane. It's insanity, and that's why it was like talking with these girls. Like a lot of them that are there, you know that they're not gonna. They're young enough, so they're not fully developed, I should say, in the mindset as far as like there's not an end game at all. So they're in it to win it.
So let me ask you a question from the girls that you've sat in these sessions. From what you can gather, do you think how many girls are usually there?
I mean, anywhere between like 4 and 7 of us.
Okay, so let's say 8. Let's say 8. Okay, out of those 8, so you're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those 8, including yourself, do you think are? I'm a sex worker. I do it because this is my job. I do it and I leave, or they leave.
I think it would be half, because some of these girls will continue these classes after they've gotten out of life. This organization is allowing these people, and I don't know how long that stint is, but to come back for group therapy and get some of the problems out. even after they've gotten a job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so some of these girls already have jobs, but it's funny to hear the stories of it. You know, one girl was telling me that when she got her first check, she's like, "Oh, Uncle Sam again,"
Right.
because all of a sudden, what she made in a couple hours, it's a week.
Right.
It's a week paycheck.
Right.
I've tried to explain this to family members that know what I'm doing, that are not very happy about my situation, and
your new lifestyle.
My new lifestyle. It's trying to have them understand where, like, I can't go back into a 6-figure job right away. That's the corporate world has kind of disappeared, nor do I want to. This, as far as this organization goes, I think it would be half. Half the girls are going to go in there, they're going to do their job, and they're going to get out. But I think the other half, for right now,
we'll go back to.
They're in it to win it for the rest of their lives because this is all they know.
I mean, listen, I can understand. I could see how a family member would not be happy that your sister or your,
of course not,
you know, aunt or loved one was a sex worker. Okay. Now the real question is, are they concerned, or are they pissed? Are they morally pissed off? Are they concerned that because you hear the stories, this guy came crazy, killed her, stabbed her, you know, whatever.
My sense from my people is the concern. Murder, rape,
right,
disease,
right.
Now I do my business a little bit differently than I think. Like I said from previous, some of these girls that are walking streets, I think have it a little bit tougher than what I do. I'm in a private setting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that girls that are, you know, we've seen some of the documentaries in New York, and you know, where they're walking the streets in the back of a car. I mean, guy just pulls up, probably just got off of work.
It's gross.
I mean, we know that probably one, he had to take a shower or clean himself. 1, 2, you don't know how many other guys she's done that with all day long.
Of course.
Right? So her hygiene is questionable.
Of course.
And then
because she's not taking a break to go fix herself. Because there's no place to do that.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you know, they're tired.
Yeah.
They're walking on heels.
Well, you're a mess by 10, 11 o'clock if you've done it during the day.
Exactly.
Now, even when I do it during the day, and I have my job during the day, and go into the nighttime, I mean, by 11, I'm wrecked.
Right.
I'm tired. It's all day of putting on a show. This is all a circus act.
Yeah, no,
right?
Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, I get it. Like, you're exhausted. Now, thankfully, on my side, because it isn't a private setting, like, I have access to a shower. I can clean.
Yeah.
I can get food from my kitchen.
And then you can take a break if you need to.
I can take a nap on my couch.
Right. And I think that also because you're more kind of like myself, where I'm not a regular gym, I'm more of an exclusive gym.
Right.
You're more exclusive.
Yes.
The people that you're getting are...
I'm not taking $20 blowjobs, I'll tell you that much right now.
Exactly.
And I mean no disrespect to anyone that's doing it, but that's not where I put my goals.
Because it's more of a business.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I offer.
Yes.
This is the experience.
Yes.
It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
You know, so if you want a $20, go down Sepulveda.
Yep.
You can get it.
Oh yeah.
You can probably get a $10 blowjob.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
but
do you really want to?
No.
I mean,
it's been all day.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, you're more on the higher end of the experience. You know, clean sheets.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about somebody robbing you. You know.
No, for the most part, because I have a dog too. So the barking alone, I think, has put people kind of. I don't think I've ever had any. I mean, I've had some problems, but I've never had anyone that's come in there where I thought this may be a real big issue.
Right.
Because my dog is always there. And
right.
I used to, when I started, I used to keep the door closed, the dog outside. Nope, not anymore. She knows better. She will bark when you come in.
Right.
Say her piece. She'll get on the couch, wait for it to be done, and wait for you to walk out. She won't say anything or bark at you while you walk out. But if there's a problem, damn sure she's going to be in that room.
Right.
And because I'm not playing that game anymore.
Right.
And so I think there's a few levels of safety that I can take on. But again, like some of these girls I watch walk in, and I absolutely love them for it with their big Louis Vuitton bags and Chanel shoes where I'm walking in flip flops and jeans. Now you're gonna pay for the experience, no doubt, but I also have big bills.
Right.
Like I don't live out of my parents' house still. I don't live out of my car, which sucks for these girls.
I'm sure some of them even like living in a motel.
Right, exactly.
A weekly
part
rate.
of them is they don't know any better.
Right.
So they want to show the expensive stuff. Good on them. But you don't have anything else to back that up.
Right.
Whereas I at least have a home to live in. So I mean, so the classes are pretty amazing. They can be very, I think they can be very harmful if you don't know how to cut off your job versus your personal life. Because when you go in there and if you do share, I mean, it just opens up wounds. Like I said, I had some excess baggage that I was
has it helped you?
It has actually. It has, because I've been able to say certain things to a group of people that know what I'm going through and know the pain and suffering or know the trauma of the day, and then you can walk out of there and actually just feel like you've gotten something off your chest. Where I think the first couple classes that I went to, I walked out extremely angry. I was so angry.
Really?
And I couldn't pinpoint why I was angry, and it's because of some things that have happened in my past. Just flooded my brain, and so those days, and I didn't do the classes consecutively, right away, because I couldn't go back to work. Like I literally my first day.
Oh, so you like totally got mind fucked.
Whoa! I couldn't believe what happened to me. I could not turn that part of my brain off to go back to work.
Right.
And so I got home, went under the covers, watched Netflix, and I cried. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I get it. Like this job is emotionally taxing. I love what I do and I hate what I do. It's wonderful that I get to be a part of this and like meet great people and have fun experiences. There's no doubt about it. But I enjoy sex too.
Right.
But on the other side of it, there are some very lonely days that happen and lonely evenings where you're wondering like, I don't even know how I got here. And you got to really understand how to turn that off.
Oh, you know what, when I used to balance and I used to work at strip clubs, friends would be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. I mean, it's just a job.
Yep.
I go, it's great the first month.
Yes.
Who doesn't want to stand there and see hot naked chicks take their clothes off
Right.
all day long? I said, it's great. I said, but then you know what? You start dealing with the
dummies,
the customers,
Yeah.
the guys that come in drunk. Then their boyfriends come, the girlfriend's giving the guy a lap dance and they're pissed off,
Exactly.
And then if it just becomes, then they're on stage, but they're a mess also.
Oh, yeah.
They have an attitude,
Right.
Some of them are having a bad day, So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, you're over it,
Yeah.
So I could totally see that. Yeah, you enjoy sex with your partner.
I love it.
But when it comes to work, it's like
It's totally draining.
Yeah, and I can totally see, especially with a woman, especially the pussy being so sensitive.
Yeah.
That you can only use X amount of lube.
Good God. There have been days where I remember, being busy and going through the motions and having a great time, and I remember and this happens all the time, not all the time, but it happens, where it's like the last customer and I'm like full bottle because I cannot function.
Yeah.
Like my body just can't function.
No.
The amount of water that I pound through the day to make sure that everything is hydrated.
Yeah.
But even as hydrated as I am, it's still you're giving yourself, no matter what. Like I can turn off my brain and not give you my body and soul, right? I'm going to give you a job. This is an experience and it's a job. But even the experience, I look at like actors and actresses. It's a long day.
It is.
It's taxing because you have to know when to turn it on and turn it off. And I know, like, reading through something like with Jared Leto and the Joker, there was a time where I think one of the articles was saying that he just stayed in character.
Yeah.
So he never left.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm at. Like
that happened also to the one that played the Joker, Heath
Ledger.
Yeah.
And he's totally.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they say he went off the deep end too because there was other issues.
There was other issues?
Yeah, and that brought out the issues.
I will tell you this, with the group sessions, like I said, because it's brought out other issues, like I've had to really understand who I am as a person and how to do my job and not lose myself in it.
So kind of more, it kind of give you, I guess, tools of reflection.
Yeah, because I think, you start to do a job for a while and you lose sight of things. And so if you don't get something, I'm a firm believer in therapy. I love it. I freaking love it. It's good for the soul because if you've got a good therapist, you can tell them anything and they're going to listen and they're going to give you good tools. These people may not necessarily give me tools, but it's because I get to say it out loud where instead of just thinking it and building it up. And
I think it's the non judging.
Yeah,
You're sitting with somebody. You're gonna tell them exactly what's on your fucking mind, and they're not gonna be like, "Well, you can't feel that way."
No,
like a friend or
I got irritated at one of the classes because they wanted to do yoga, and I was like, "Fuck you and your yoga," and I said it out loud. Everyone else was like really chipper about like, "Yeah, let's stretch," and I was like, "Fuck this." Who says that about yoga?
Yeah,
no,
I do. I do. I don't do that voodoo.
I don't do that.
That's what I say.
But I do know, like, I was already irritated. But the little girl that was teaching us had no idea what she was walking into, and I think that's what made me more irritated because I was like, if you're going to bring someone into this organization, don't bring them off of, like, being their second year in college and they've never witnessed anything like this before. Like, this girl was like, sometimes, I do breathing exercises in my car, or right before I've got to stand up in front of, like, a class and talk, like this one. And I was like, right. So, have you been in sex work before? Because this
I'm out. I'm out.
Done.
I'm out. Yeah, you check out.
So I checked out, and I like at the end of the yoga session, we still had like.
So you actually did it.
I had to sit through it because I have to get credit for these fucking classes.
So you actually did yoga?
I had to get credit.
Was it hard?
No, because it wasn't even real yoga.
So it was more like kind of a meditating kind of breathing?
It was chair yoga. It was chair yoga, and it reminded me of something that prior to my grandmother passing that she would do because it was like so weird. And watching the girl came in to teach yoga, but she turns on YouTube to a channel of not her teaching yoga and not her talking. She's just sitting in the fucking class, and I'm like, then why are you here? I can do this at my house. And so
because you need to take credit.
I gotta get credit. So she gets done, and she was like, well, we have about 20 minutes to talk. Does anyone want to say anything? And I was like,
no. I'm fucking out of here.
I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. And I said something